Hello friends, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to discuss about the gymnosperms. As we know that today there is an age of angiospermic plants. Whatever the plants which are surrounding to us, most of them they are the angiospermic plants. These angiospermic plants they are originating from the gymnospermic members. So, before the development of angiosperms, there was an age of gymnosperms. So, these gymnosperms, they are dominant in the Paleozoic era. So, today we are going to discuss about that gymnosperms. In this topic, we are going to discuss about the history of gymnosperms, introduction of gymnosperms, and general characteristic features of the gymnosperms. So under the history, see that gymnosperms are the members which show the presence of living as well as the fossil members, because most of the gymnosperms they are dominant during the Paleozoic era. Then some of the members of that gymnosperms they get buried inside the soil, and their imprints or their impressions they are present in the form of their fossils. So the gymnospermic member shows presence of living as well as the fossil members. So as the gymnosperm shows presence of the fossil members, that's why the gymnosperms are known as progymnosperms. And these progymnosperms, they are originated in the era called as an Paleozoic era. If we observe the Jurassic period, so in that period, the cycads, which is one of the member of the gymnosperms, most of the cycads they are dominant during that Jurassic period. Then the term gymnosperms it is coined by the scientist Theophrist. So remember that these gymnosperms they show presence of fossil as well as the living members. As they show presence of fossil members, that's why they are called as progymnosperms, and they are dominant during the Paleozoic era. During the Jurassic period, there was a time of cycads, and the term gymnosperms it is coined by the scientist Theophrist. Then see that the members of the gymnosperm they are also called as acrogymnosperm, or they are included under the acrogymnospermi because they are the seed producing plants. So before the gymnosperms, if we take a look on the lower cryptogamic plants, the lower cryptogamic plants means the algae, bryophytes, pteridophytes, and then gymnosperms. So up to the pteridophytes, there is no formation of seeds. But see that the gymnosperms, they are evolved or they are originating from the pteridophytic members. So the character which is dominant under the gymnosperms than the lower cryptogamic plant is the gymnosperms. They are the seed producing plants. And see that the gymnosperms include conifers, cycads, the members of ginkgo and gnetophytes. So we see that as we know that the gymnosperm shows the presence of fossil as well as living members. So let's see what are the living members which are present in the gymnosperms. So see that the members of conifers, for example the pines, then the members of cycad, then the members of gnetum, or you can say the gnetophytes. For example, the Netum, Ephedra, Ginkgo biloba. So these are the plants which are the living gymnosperms. So see that this is the main characteristic feature of the gymnosperms. Means the gymnosperms are identified by using that character. So see that what is that character? So in the gymnosperms, the ovules are not enclosed in ovary wall. See that the gymnosperm shows presence of male cone and female cone. But here the ovules which are present here, they does not show presence of ovary wall. So this is the main feature of the gymnosperm. Then next we see what is the next feature of the gymnosperms. So see that if you observe or if we compare in between the angiospermic seeds and gymnospermic seeds, so see that here in the angiosperms the seeds are enclosed or they have the covering. But if you observe the members of gymnosperms, here the seeds are naked. They does not have any covering. So this is the second important feature which is observed in the gymnosperms. Then see that under the introduction of the gymnosperms, so the gymnosperms are the more ancient plants, and as we discussed earlier, the gymnospermic members, they are originating from the pteridophytes and they are dominant in the Paleozoic era. Then the gymnosperms, they are mostly abundant during the Mesozoic era. Then the earlier members of the gymnosperms, they get extinct. The meaning of extinct is they get lost or they are buried inside the soil and they are available in the form of fossils. That's why our gymnosperms, they show presence of fossil as well as the living members. So during the time of evolution from the gymnosperms, there is a development of the angiosperms. So see that if we observe the gymnospermic members, so the gymnosperm shows presence of tall or medium sized trees, or most of the shrubby members, they are found inside the gymnosperms. So see that if you observe here, these are the pine members. This is the pinus which shows the presence of large trees. While if you observe this member, this is one of the shrubby member called as thuja, which is included under the gymnosperm. So if we observe the habit which is observed under the gymnosperms, so most of the members of gymnosperms, they are tall or medium sized trees and they are shrubs one, while very rarely they show presence of climbers or herb members. So see that one of the largest gymnospermic member, it is called as an redwood tree of California. The name of that tree is Sequoia sempervirens. So see that the height of that plant, so it has an height of 364 feet. So that much tall gymnospermic member is observed and having the name Sequoia sempervirens. Then next we see one another larger member of gymnosperm. So see that this is the second member called as an Sequoia gigantea, which has an height of 267 feet, and if you observe the diameter of the stem, so it is about 77 feet. The girth of the stem is 77 feet, and the name of that enlarged or Gagnetic plant is Sequoia gigantea. Then next we see one of the oldest member belonging to gymnosperms. It is known as Pinus aristata. So see that this member, it is about 4,000 year olds. So this is actual the habit of that plant. And whenever this is the reproductive characters, or you can say the male cone and female cone, which are of Pinus aristata. So next we see the general characteristic features of the gymnosperms. So under the general characteristic features, we have to study the vegetative characters and reproductive characters of the gymnosperms. So let's we start from the habit. So see that most of the members which are included under the gymnosperms, they are medium sized trees or they are gigantic trees. Some of the members, they are shrubs. Very rarely they are climbers, and herb species are mostly absent in the gymnosperms. Then if we observe the main plant body of the gymnosperm, so the main plant body of gymnosperm is sporophytic one, and which get divided into through root, stem and leaves. As if we consider that gymnospermic members along with the lower cryptogamic plants, so in that one, the sporophyte is not well developed. Most of the lower cryptogamic members, they are thallophytes, means they does not show clear differentiation in between root, stem and leaves. But if we observe the member of gymnosperms, so here the main plant body, it is a sporophytic one, and that sporophyte is divided into through root, stem and leaves. So see that under the gymnosperms, the sporophytic phase, it is a dominant one, and it is represented by its diploid nature. So see that if we observe the life cycle of gymnosperms, so life cycle shows the presence of two phases, that is a sporophytic phase and gametophytic phase. So under the gymnosperms, the sporophytic phase is dominant one. So let's see what is the sporophytic phase. So see that if we observe any one of the gymnosperm, so it shows the presence of male branch and female branch. The male branch, it will give rise to male flowers. Female branch, it will give rise to the female flowers. The male flowers, they can form the microsporangium, while the female flowers forms megasporangium. So microsporangium shows presence of microspores and megasporangium shows presence of megaspores. So what happened? These microspores and megaspores, they can form the male gamete and female gamete. So see this up to this stage, there is a sporophytic phase which is diploid one. Okay, and after the formation of male gamete and female gamete, it is haploid one, and that phase it is called as an gametophytic phase. So see that the female gametophyte, it shows presence of egg, and the male gametophyte, it shows the presence of male nuclei. So after the fertilization of that egg along with the male nuclei, it forms the oospore, and that oospore, it will give rise to the embryo, and that embryo, it will give rise to seeds, and the seeds, whenever the conditions are favorable, give rise to the new gymnospermic plants. So see that these are the two life cycles which are present under the gymnospermic members. So see that this half part means up to the formation of megaspore and microspore, the phase is diploid one, and that phase, it is called as an sporophytic phase. And whenever there is a formation of male gamete and female gamete, then there is a development of haploid phase, and it is called as an gametophytic phase. So next we see the next characteristic feature of the gymnosperm. So see that as we have discussed, the sporophyte, it is divided into root, stem and leaves. If you observe here, see that this one is the sporophyte. It shows the presence of root. It has the stem and the leaf part. That's why the sporophyte, it is divided into root, stem and leaves. So if we observe the root system which is present in the gymnosperms, so it is basically a taproot system. And if we observe the roots, so the roots, they are in symbiotic association along with the mycorrhiza, which is one of the fungi. So this is once again an important feature of the gymnospermic members, that is the roots have an symbiotic association along with the mycorrhiza. Then uh, inside the gymnosperms, they show presence of one specialized root, and that specialized root, it is called as an coleroid root. So see that if we observe the type of root, it looks like a crown. That's why due to its arrangement, it is called as an coleroid root, and basically these roots are observed in the members named as cycas. So if we observe the stem which is present in the gymnosperm, so see that this is the stem of the gymnosperms. So the stem is aerial, it is erect. If this is the one of the member of cycas, so see that if you observe the stem, it does not show presence of branching. Only the branching is seen at the tip region of the stem. Or if you observe this plant, so see that in this plant also the stem overall, it does not show branching, but the branching is present only at the apices. So this is the one of the characteristic feature of the gymnosperm, that is stem is aerial, erect, unbranched. For example, if you observe here, this is an example of cycas in which we are going to found the unbranched stem. But there are some members, for example, like pinus or like cedrus, which shows the presence of branched stem. Means here in these two members, the stem overall shows presence of branching. So those members of the gymnosperms which show the presence of branching, that branching, it get divided into two types, that is dwarf shoot and long shoot. So see that the types of spores which are observed in the gymnosperms. So see that gymnosperms are the members which can adapt the xerophytic nature. And one of the characteristic feature of the gymnosperms which can prove that the gymnosperms can adapt the xerophytic nature is that the leaves are mostly needle like. So the leaves are needle like, it is one of the character of xerophytes. And here the leaves, they are called as an spores. So if you observe the pattern of spores which are observed under the gymnosperms, so see that this is called as an monofoliar because it shows the presence of only a single spore. This one, it is called as an bifoliar because it shows the presence of two needles. Okay. Then next one, this is called as an trifoliar, means it shows the presence of three needles. Needles means it is leaves. Okay. The next one, this is called as an multifoliar, or you can say the pentafoliar spores. So if you observe here, the branches which get divided into two types, that is the dwarf shoot and long shoot. So see this one, the branch which is present exactly at the base of the spore, it is called as an dwarf shoot, while this one, this elongated portion, this is called as an long shoot. If you observe in this picture, see that the part below that spore, it is called as an dwarf shoot, while the remaining enlarged portion, it is called as an long shoot. Then the next one of the important characteristic feature of the gymnosperm is the stems have the persistent leaf base or leaf scar. So see that this is one of the leaf scar, means leaf, it shows the presence of leaf. Okay, so the marks of presence of the leaf, it is called as an persistent leaf base or leaf scar. So if you observe the stem which is present under the gymnosperms, so they show presence of marks of the leaves, and this one, it is called as an leaf scars. So this type of leaf scars, they are observed in the gymnospermic members. So next, if we observe the leaf pattern which is observed in the gymnosperm, so see that basically in the gymnosperms the leaves are of two types, foliage leaves and scaly leaves. So how we are going to identify the difference in between foliage leaves and scaly leaves? So difference, we can easily differentiate in between the two leaves, that is the foliage leaves and scaly leaves. So those leaves in the gymnosperms which are green in color, they are known as the foliage leaves, while those leaves which are present on the stem and they are brown in color, they are known as scaly leaves. If we observe the pattern of leaves, so they show presence of compound leaves and the leaves are pinnately arranged, or there is bipinnate arrangement of the leaves. So see that here the leaves may be small, they are microphyllous or large megaphyllous. Microphyllous and megaphyllous means those leaves which have the small size, they are known as microphyllous, while those leaves which are large in their shape, they are known as megaphyllous. So the type of leaves which are observed in the gymnospermic members, they are either simple or compound type of leaves. So for example, see this one. So this is the leaf of Nitum, which shows the presence of simple leaves, and this is an example of compound leaves. So here is a bipinnate arrangement of leaves. Then see that the next characteristic features of the gymnosperms are the leaves are evergreen. Then the leaf shows the presence of resin canals. About the phyllotaxy of the leaves, phyllotaxy of leaves means the arrangement of leaves on the rachis. This is called as an leaf phyllotaxy. So in the gymnosperms, the leaves, they are opposite or decussate, or they show presence of whorled or spiral phyllotaxy. Then as we have discussed in last slides, that is leaves shows the presence of xerophytic adaptations, because the leaves are like needle, the leaves are needle like, they show presence of thick cuticle and they shows the presence of sunken stomata. So these are the three characteristic features which shows that the gymnosperms can adapt the xerophytic nature. Then the vascular system in the gymnosperms, it is present, but see that as we know that the xylem, it is made from the four elements, that is tracheids, vessel, xylem parenchyma and xylem fibers. But if we observe the gymnosperms, so in the gymnosperms under the xylem, the vessel elements, they are absent. Then next we know that the next part under the vascular system, that is the phloem. So here also the phloem, it is made from the four elements, that is sheath tubes, companion cell, phloem parenchyma and phloem fibers. But if we observe the gymnospermic members, in them under the phloem, the companion cells are absent. So remember this one. This is one of the important feature which is observed in the gymnosperms. So under the gymnosperms, the xylem, it does not show presence of vessel, and phloem, it does not show presence of companion cell. Then if we observe the TS of stem, then we are able to see that the vascular bundles which are present under the gymnosperms, they are co-joint, means they are attached or they are joined to each other. That type of arrangement of vascular bundle is called as an co-joint. Then collateral, means xylem and phloem, they are laterally present along with each other. This one is called as an collateral arrangement of vascular bundles. And in some of the members, the vascular bundles, they are open one, means they show presence of cambium region. Then if we observe the root, if we take the TS of root of the gymnosperms, so here the vascular bundles, they are radial, they are either diarch or polyarch. The radial arrangement of vascular bundle means the xylem and phloem, they are going to arrange alternate with each other. So that type of arrangement of xylem and phloem is known as an radial arrangement. While some of the members, they show presence of two vascular bundles, that's why they are called as an diarch condition. While some of the gymnosperm, they show presence of many vascular bundles, that's why it is called as an polyarch. Then the next feature of the gymnosperm is the gymnosperms are heterosporous. Why they are heterosporous? Because they produces both the types of spores, that is microspores and megaspores. While if we observe the presence of the sporangia, so if you observe the leaf here, so if you observe here this yellow color, these are the sporangia which are born on the structure. So this structure, it is called as an sporophyll. So see that the microsporangia, they are produced at an abaxial surface of microsporophyll. So see that this is one of the structure of microsporophyll. So these are the microspores which are based on the structure, and that structure is known as microsporophyll. Then the megasporangia, they are produced on the megasporophyll. So see this one, these are the megaspores and this one is the megasporophyll which is observed in the gymnospermic members. So see this one, this is the megasporophyll, and on that megasporophyll there is a development of megasporangia. Then if we observe the development of male gametophyte inside the gymnosperms, so the development is endosporic, means the development of male gamete, it takes place within the spore. Then the ovule content in the female gametophyte, it is 2. Generally it is 2. Then the ovules are surrounded by 3-layered integuments. So this is one of the specific feature of the gymnosperm, that is here. If we observe the angiosperms, so in that angiosperms, it shows the presence of 2 integuments. But under the gymnosperms, the gymnosperm shows presence of three-layered integument. Then the species which are observed under the gymnosperms, they are monoecious or dioecious. Monoecious or dioecious means the sex organs or male and female cone, they are developed on the same plant, or the male cone and female cone, they are going to develop into the separate plant. So this condition, it is called as an monoecious and dioecious. Then if we observe the type of pollination under the gymnosperm, so in most of the members, the pollination is anemophilous type of pollination. And the next characteristic feature of the gymnosperm is after fertilization, the zygote get developed into the embryo and ovules into the seeds. So this is the feature of gymnosperms, which is more advanced than the lower cryptogamic plants. Then here under the gymnosperms, they show presence of either single or two cotyledons. So these are the general characteristic features of the gymnosperms. Thank you. If you like the video, please like, share and subscribe my channel. Thank you.